All right. Just wanted to make sure we were live. You guys can hear me, right? Okay. All I did was go back to the old thing. That's all I've done sound wise. So I can hear myself. Test. Look, nothing's changed. You guys can hear me, correct? Sorry if the mic is too good and it picks up on everything here. When we're looking at this race at Bristol, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not very satisfied with how DraftKings went ahead and did all the contests. So this is very my approach tonight is very dependent on just the contest that I'm stuck in. So I originally thought that DraftKings would do a much bigger secondary four um, dollar contest, because typically when they do that, it's usually anywhere between like a 15 to a 17 max enter for the secondary four, right? Like it's normally like that. So I was like, okay, well, I really don't need to throw 20 in the 10 and throw 20 in the four if I'm just going to enter the secondary four with like 17 lines anyway. So I'll just say 15, in the original four and the original 10, and then I'll just adjust of whatever, the secondary four is. Well, secondary four comes out and it's a 13 max. I go to max enter the old four, that one's filled up. And so like at this point I'm pissed off because I'm locked in like 15 lineups on these contests outside the secondary four. So for me, right now, I think this race is pretty straightforward. I really do. In terms of the people you can actually play, we'll look at practice data and stuff like that. But in terms of where we're going and what I'm doing specifically in my lineups right now, I haven't made them all, but I have a pretty good idea of where I'm going to go. I'm going to have 5 of my 15 lineups with Ekis, Sanchez, and Ty Majeski. Just going on from there. I'm going to have 4 with 2 of Ekis and Sanchez. Probably the other 2 with Ekis, Sanchez, or one of those 2 plus Ty Majeski. And then probably my last 2 lines are going to just have probably 1 Ekis and 1 Sanchez, no Majeski. That is my actual true approach. I think everything past that is literally 1v1s in this race. Ekis has the best car. Sanchez is mispriced. He's going to have a great car as well. Majeski has a real chance of leading laps in this race. Those are your favorites to win this race, okay? Like, I don't foresee why we would not try and jam in all those idiots into our lineups, especially in a situation where Sanchez could realistically beat Ekis off the line, be the first lap leader, and then get overtaken later in the race by Ekis. Vice versa. With Ekis leading early, Sanchez takes the lead, or Ty Majeski gets there. Like, these guys are 98, 83, and 96. There's like legitimately no reason to pay up in the 10K range. I'm going to try and have probably 3 lineups with Kyle Busch built specifically if a primary lap leader crashes out and you can just afford to end up having the 15,000 in your lineup. I'm able to get to Corey Heim in nearly every single line. So I'm probably going to cap him at least at 7 in my lines, but that's literally it. I don't foresee anything else in terms of lap leaders and like building past that. It's all like where people are scoring. I don't know. Like, the slate seems like super, super straightforward in terms of people you can actually play. In terms of like when we look at that, it's these guys. Probably not going to play Taylor Gray here in terms of people that are realistically in play based on what they can score. These are all the guys in the top 20. Oh, no. I thought I lost it. And then we go on here. And past this, we're looking at pretty ugly guys, or guys that are like fringe. Not Matt Mills. That are fringe value plays. So, like, here you are. Literally it. This is what you build with. Value play doesn't matter. It literally just whatever you can get to these guys. I will say I'm probably going to be super overweight on Tanner Gray. I think he's my favorite play. So if Tanner has a horrific day, most of my lines are going to be dead. This will be a race that I very much have probably 75 to 80% on probably 3 to 4 drivers realistically when I'm done. I think I'm probably going to have 80, 75% Tanner Gray. Probably going to have 90% Ekis. Probably going to have 70, 65% Sanchez. Like, it's just one of those races to where I'm going to be overweight on literally everybody that I play. And realistically, I'm going to play the same line 15 times, man. There's like, I just don't see a reason to really build or do anything different in that regard. Like when you look at the guys in the back of the field, you have to look at them at only gaining positions when and if people wreck. Who would be those people that end up wrecking? You know, it could be like, some random dude racing for 14th, or it's a situation to where, one of the leaders takes each other out. So like when you look at Boyd to Mason Massey, I think you realistically give them all four positions. So Boyd finishes 26. You project Mason Massey or Mason McGee for 27th, Carroll for 28th, like Keith McGee for 30th and stuff like that. Regardless if they finish there or not, they're only getting positions if people wreck out. When we look at the last couple races for the Truck Series here at Bristol, and we look at the total like DNF percentages and stuff, if I can get there. Here, we're just going to grab the last two races here from these guys. Let's move that. Like a Bristol, look at the truck race, and we look specifically at the last two races in terms of DNF percentage, because yet again, like I think using anything, and yet again, I mean, like trucks and Xfinity are certainly different in terms of who can lead laps and who can't, because we're clearly at like four different tiers in these races, but still we have drastically different teams. I just think using old data is just useless. And for me, like I'm purposely trying to approach short tracks this year completely different from how I would. And so when we look at the actual like DNF guys, like it's 3 guys here and 4 guys here. So like we're gonna probably have very little like carnage and stuff. And so like by default, probably the guy that I'm probably going to be the most overweight on in terms of the value play would be Keith McGee, because he's $5,000. He's the cheapest guy, starting 34th. Like that's got to be on. I really wish stupid Mussolini was driving this car so he would stop bitching at me because I don't play him, and I'd be like, I'd play your dumbass here in 34th, running ass last, dude. I'm playing Rayum 34th today to fit in all the guys I want to focus on. Because specifically, like it's straight up like we're running 250 laps here. When you look at these races here, we've only ever done 200 laps for the Truck Series here. So we're getting an additional 50, and we look at where the distribution usually ends up going to. And these last two are just kind of tales of two different tapes. We have Eckes basically killing the whole field here, and then the other one was 4 different guys leading. When we typically look at it, we typically see 2 to 3 lap leaders. I would just try and chase that, and like that's literally it. I'm just chasing laps led and fast laps, and most likely the fast laps will be coming from the guys running in the top 5. Like once we get into traffic, and we're going to run the traffic stupid fast, probably be lapping idiots on like lap 11. Like, as if the leader's clean and he doesn't have anyone in front of him, he's going to get the fast lap. If he's in traffic, it's going to be the guy in second, or the guy in third, or the guy in fourth. I don't really foresee a lot of fast laps coming from people deep in the pack, especially if they're trapped in traffic here. If you guys have any questions specifically on people, oh yeah, I haven't put anything on there yet. I'm so sorry. I got distracted. I am sorry. Just real fast, like these last 2 races with DNF and stuff like that, because I hadn't gone over. Fuck, man, dude. Honestly, like I don't know why. To be frank, like Pierce really got under my skin the other day for just fucking jawing and yapping and shit. Like I'm actually like really really pissed off at Pierce. So in terms of like the main guys here, in terms of like the people you can play, this is it. I don't foresee why you would play anybody else other than getting different. When we're looking here, like that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 guys realistically that you can play. Past that, it's literally just playing whatever value works out. Outside of that, when I look at like it's so easy to get Corey Heim. Like when you're actually building in this race and we're looking at the guys that are like that you're actually chasing, like we're just staying in the 9K range, and Corey Heim is 10K. Like I don't know, this is like a stupid easy race to build for. You know, the only way it truly goes haywire is if these three guys, highlighted in blue, this race gets real haywire and really nuts if two of these guys run into issues. Okay, especially if it's Eckes as one of those guys, because Eckes will probably be the most popular guy. Okay, most likely to lead and get the most fast laps in this race. And so if he runs into issues, then you're looking at, Sanchez most likely fitting in there and Majeski having a good chance. Like I said, if we have two of these guys, if you're wanting to build probably for the highest return on lineup without like duplications and stuff, I would focus on building one with one of these three guys in blue. That's going to be my least like interest in building my own lineups. As I said, I'll probably have two or three of those, and probably it'll just be one with Eckes, one with Sanchez. And I don't know if I'm going to do it solo with Majeski, because I don't know if I need to do that risk with just 15 lines. But I think that's the true like way to get different here. Is building like solo races like this, specifically in a situation where like the main guy leads like 150 laps and stuff. But even then, like the reason like we're at 250 laps, like that's pushing. I mean, this is 75% of this race. But man, I really can't envision one guy leading more than probably 55% of this race, even if they have the fastest car. When I'm looking at what I have guys projected for, like I didn't even knock it out of the park. But when we look at the ratios that I have of laps led towards people, starting at 0 to like 100 or whatever, like Eckes has 2 times the amount of laps led I have Sanchez for. And then Eckes has let's see, like 2.5 times the amount of laps led that I have Majeski for. And then Eckes has 3 times the amount of laps led that I have Kyle Busch for. Those are my 4 guys that I would think realistically lead laps, and I think 2 of them for sure lead laps. I just think you chase lap lead. Like I don't know, man. I think we're all building with like the same 4 drivers, and more specifically with that, it's your 9K guys, whatever you do, and then specifically where you go in the 7K range. Lane Riggs will probably be the guy who pulls ownership in the 8K range, because like you're not playing Rhodes, very little upside there. You're not playing Roger, you're not playing Ankrum outside of lineups that you're going to play him in, or like you just end up on him and stuff. You're not playing Tanner Gray, and so like Riggs is the only guy that stands out in the mid 8K range. In the 7K range, you're most likely not able to get up to him, especially like if you're like me and you're playing Tanner Gray, and or you're getting to like Matt Crafton, who can easily pay off his price tag as well. Like I don't know. I think there's going to be a ton of duplicated lineups in this event, and that is mighty unfortunate. And that's really my takeaway there. I mean, I don't know, man. This is I don't know. This race seems pretty self-forward or pretty straightforward. I will say Kyle Busch. Ideally, I'd like to have 20 to 25% of Kyle Busch, because I think he gets completely just ignored in this race, DFS wise. From seeing how projections are looking, from seeing what builds are looking at. Let me see what Sheets has him for. I want to see what he has at ownership here, because that's surprising. What does Saberson have him at? Because realistically, there's no reason that Kyle Busch should push like over 33% ownership. I just don't see why that would even be the case. This man offers very little upside And yet, SaberSim has him as their most projected guy. Oh, okay, so that's very interesting. So let's talk about Kyle Busch really fast. So this is what I was looking at specifically with Kyle before this, and why I don't think you need to fade him completely. Because, like, clearly he goes out, car is not handling well at all. But they go in and make adjustments, and you can clearly see the drastic change in speed. And when you specifically look at from the time when he went back out on the track in these, let's just remove this right fast. It's a 117. It's a 119. I'll put those back in this after this, as long as I remember. But when we look at this, that's an average of 121.7. And when you look at him specifically with Eckes, Enfinger, Sanchez, Corey, Ty Majeski, in their long run, he is fitting right in between, the top 4 drivers. And so, like Kyle Busch, for example, yet again, leading towards like why I don't believe Eckes leads the entire race. I think he gets past in pit lane at some point. Whether we get a yellow, whether we get some, some stupid, strategy from these idiots who like are like trying to save a set of tires later, or whatever, or people staying out. I just don't think Eckes truly runs away with this race. And your main contenders to get that lead, Sanchez, Corey Heim, Eckes, and Kyle Busch. Clearly, Corey Heim is going to be, late stage 2, stage 3. But like Kyle Busch is there. He's with these guys. Like when we're looking at them compared with where they're at, these laps late in the run, for Enfinger is 121 right off the bat. Eckes is 122.5. So clearly like a disconnect or, a separation between Kyle Busch and Eckes. But like Corey Heim is right there. We got Ty Majeski right there. Like Kyle Busch is not out of this race. However, I do have a lot of issues with him being projected as high as he is, because he is the highest projected guy across the board, which is pretty insane. I don't even know how you would get to that. Like they're not chasing double Sanchez and Eckes or Majeski. Like there's just no way. If you go Eckes and Kyle Busch, you're at 6'3". Then you got to stand on people like Dean Thompson, Sawalish, even Bailey Curry. You're still punting. I think Kyle Busch is a tertiary focus here. This is a guy you only play if you're doing like over 10 lines. If you have less than that, I just don't see a reason to play Kyle Busch. And so the fact that Kyle Busch is projected to be the highest owned driver in this race is very surprising and very, very weird. It's very, very strange. Nick Sanchez is like I just don't understand what the fuck people are doing here if that actually happens. Especially when you start looking at where these guys are here. Like, yeah, sure, Sanchez, certainly drops off in his laps. But his price on average across the board, like these aren't bad laps. A lot of these are in traffic, Like this is clearly an in traffic. I probably should have removed that one. Actually, my averages are only taking laps over 117, so it's technically not included, but probably should have removed that from the visual aid here. But like those are in traffic, I just think I just think Sanchez has a way better car than people are giving credit for here. That's funny. Building with Kyle, building with Kyle puts you with 3 heart. Yeah, like it's just, that's just fucking insane, dude. Yet again, like going back to the beginning of my video, Eckes, Sanchez, Ty Majeski will make up a majority of my lineups, whether it's 3 of them or 2 of those guys. Like Kyle Busch, I'm throwing in as like, at this point, god damn, I might just like fully want to fade him. I just don't see a reason. Why would he push that ownership? Like, let's see. I'm gonna run. I just want to see what SaberSim has really fast, because I just don't understand that, man. So two things here that I'm doing. So this is one aspect that I truly like for SaberSim. It's not even advertised. I like regardless of what these projections are, because like clearly like Timmy Hill and Connor Jones are not the lowest projected guys. But the one thing that I do love about SaberSim, and I'm just doing 5,000, but we'll show 2,000 here, is I went to look at the builds. I'm not going to play any of these, but to answer that question that was just asked by Hockey, like, yeah, you have to be stuck with just absolute horrible play. We don't even probably need to finish this. Let's just look at these builds that are coming through real fast with Kyle Busch. So like clearly he's not even in their single game highest projected stuff, but yeah, he's not. When we look at projected score, but just based on their stuff, he's not even. Let's see where he starts coming in at based on highest projected. Yeah, this is like just absolute fucking disgusting. Like this is an example of where you would be at. Like you're having to do that. You're having to play. Not saying William and I mean I certainly don't like the die play, but these are the builds, and it's like you're going to be playing the same lineups as everybody else playing with Kyle Busch. And or double punting to get up to be different. Yeah, I don't like that at all, man. If I was going to play Kyle Busch, I would play him solo. I would not play him with Sanchez or Eckes. Maybe Majeski. But if you're playing Kyle Busch, I think you play him for him to run away with it. Past that, like I just don't see it in this race. Yeah, paired with his teammates, the only way. Well, I would not pair Kyle Busch with his teammates. I don't even see that being a reason or like even viable. Like, why would we play Chase Purdy and Rajan in this situation? That makes no sense, at least in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. When we're looking at where these guys are in terms of practice, like guys in the bottom of the field, they're going to get lapped. Like I don't like Ty Dillon. Lane Riggs would be somebody that I'm probably going to have 20% of, not because of his lack of speed and his possible place differential upside. That's not the reason why. It's just I literally can't get to Lane Riggs with the way I'm building. So like for me, whether he works or not, like I just wasn't getting to him anyway. I literally can't afford him. Like he's going to do whatever he does. But like look at this disconnect. This is huge, man. This is like 4 drastically different tiers. I mean, half the field. If you just look at half the field and the top 14 guys, it's literally these guys, and then everybody else is on their own plane, you know. And when you look specifically at where these guys are in terms of their long run, which yet again, this is like, 4 minutes into the race, 5 minutes into the race, I just don't see much difference here. I don't know. I'd be chasing these guys. I don't know. Like this is super straightforward to me. I think you just play. At least for me, I'm going to build one line and run it like 15 times with just a ton of 1v1s. And that's really it. The one tomorrow is going to be a pain in the ass, man. I'm not looking forward to slate tomorrow. That is not going to be fun at all. I'll upload that practice in the Discord soon, and I'll get the projections done probably after the Truck Series race. Live show tomorrow will be at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Sheets might join me, he might not, but I am not looking forward to the Cup Series race at all. I don't know if I finished qualifying, but I frankly do not care because I have not been watching since the end of practice. Seems like they have not. We've just advanced Group A like 10 minutes ago, so they're just wasting time. I do believe. I don't know. I think that's it. I mean, I'm not getting like any questions or any chats or anything to look at specifically. So yet again, I mean, I think these guys highlighted are literally the only guys in the player pool. Where am I at these fellas? Let's highlight them and make sure they're at least green. Can I have a? Yeah, no, I would like I would stack the front like if you're doing that, then that clearly means you're probably landing on either Daniel Dye or Matt Mills. And it's not a sense of, is that risky or not? When we're looking at projections based purely on like where these guys are, like especially if you're playing somebody or that doesn't hit value, like we use Caden Honeycutt for an example. The guy starts 8th, clearly has a fast car. I have him losing 7 positions, giving him a couple fast laps. I have Caden at 29 or 22.9 points. Caden is at 6,300. Just using him as an example, if he where's the rest of the salary here? Let me look really fast. Let's take a gander and look at salary. Look at salary. So we're talking about Caden right here. So we'll use this as an example of how close these guys are and why there isn't a real like lean towards any of these people. So like I had Caden at basically 23 points, right? Not hitting value. I have Matt Mills at like 27 points, not hitting value, slightly better than Caden, but like literally like both not hitting value, both very risky. Like you'd prefer to play Matt Mills between these, but this is specifically answering your question based on the guys in the top 20. So those guys are projected terrible. However, when you look at the back of the field from Allen and these guys here, I don't have any of these guys projected for more than 20 points, and I don't have any of them projected for less than 17. And so like when we're looking at this, you're in the value range because you're trying to finish your lineup or play whoever it is. And the two guys I would actually play in the 5K range, if you can afford Thad, I would actually probably prefer Thad Moffitt. If we're looking at just raw points, I would probably rank it as Thad Moffitt, Keith McGee, probably Mason Massey. But at that point, we're splitting hairs between like 22 points and like 17 points. Timmy Hill, I have him for 25 points. So like literally everybody from like Caden down, I don't have for hitting value at all. It's just raw points at that point. And it's mainly can they keep a running position inside the top 20 that keeps them from outscoring these guys by like 1 or 2 points. Assuming that you like had enough salary that you were able to have like Matt Mills as your cheapest guy. Because like if there's no reason to purposely leave not even purposely leave, but like if you're in a situation where you can afford to like go off of the punt plays, that means you had like salary left over and you're just actively trying to chase like literally the 2 or 3 extra points that these guys in the 6K range are scoring over these guys in the 5K range, because none of them are going to hit value in this race. Yeah. I would prefer Connor Jones in that. I think Connor Jones is probably going to finish around 18th to 17th today. Yet again, like where these guys are in terms of where they're starting, that's getting really close to like I got Connor Jones I got him for basically like 27 points today. Right around like a 4.5 value, So like when I'm in a situation like that, personally, when I see like this range here not hitting value, this range down here not hitting value, I typically just play down. And go as cheap as I can to just pay up for other people who will hit value or other people who can hit higher points, and stuff like that. Especially yet again, like Corey Heim starting 15th, we can clearly understand and see that Corey Heim is going to finish top 5 today. Like I would be incredibly shocked if we didn't see Corey Heim in the top 5 by the end of this race. He's like practically hitting value by just showing up there. I have him getting some fast laps through that. But like if it's between where was I at here? Because I can't see this because my camera's in the way. If it's between like getting Corey, who is let's just say he gets 50 points here and hits like a true 5x. And you need to play Keith McGee at 22 points for that. So let's say Keith McGee scores 17. So we're at 67 points there. Whereas, you end up paying up for somebody in the 6K range and you're forced to, and let's say you're already playing, or possibly already playing like, Nicholas Sanchez, Akis, who else is in that range? Ankrum or whatever. Like we've already played those guys, and we're chasing somebody like Ben Rhodes, who has the potential of realistically scoring 38 points, combined with Matt Mills scoring like 20 or 22 or 23 or whatever. Like it's just a better point per dollar play, and just a better play to just pay up for Corey Hyman, take the bad value. Versus paying up in the 6K range and laying on somebody who's going to score you like 30 to low 40 points in this range. Like that kind of answers that. Hey, what's going on, AD? What happened with your termination? I was very, very sad. I thought you went off the grid. Then he came back like 2 hours later. Saw the Twitter was gone. I was like, fuck, he ran off again. Then he came back. I looked like an idiot. I was like, oh man, he was back. Metalcore. I don't even know what that means. You can give me more stuff to go off of. I will happily answer that or share my opinion and stuff. Poor Hocevar. Poor Hocevar. Oh, I do have 50. At least it's showing 59 of you guys here. So thank you for showing up on a Saturday when you could be doing something cool to get. Dude, well, to get a block. Well, at least that. At least I get my answer. Thank you for answering. I will have to look up this music. I can give my opinion on that tomorrow morning in the show, because boy, do I like some music. What the hell is this? What the fuck is this? What? Dude, I'm gonna have to check this into. My life will never be the same after listening to this 30-minute album. I don't want to play it because it might come through my mic right here. What is? Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna have a blast listening to this. I mean, I listened to 7 seconds of it from 2 minutes and 20 seconds in, and I'm already a fan. So like this is gonna change my life. I might get this. Dude, this album is gonna be nuts. So thank you for sharing that with me here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At least for this slate, I think it's pretty straightforward. Just pray to God that Ekis Sanchez don't run into issues. If they do, pray to God you've built at least some lines to account for that. And I think past that, I think I'm gonna skedaddle. So thank you guys for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Peace out. See ya. Bye bye.